Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Previous keyboard was the last one that we streamed was one that required a lot of work and a lot of extra effort in soldering. But this one's pretty cool. So this is the UT47 version 2 by Keyhive. I'll just show you the PCB right here a little bit. Really neat. This is a hot swappable keyboard. So if you're someone who's looking to get into building a keyboard but don't necessarily want to deal with all the soldering, this one is really straightforward. All you need is the kit, which you can get from Keyhive, whatever keycaps you pick out. You will need switches, of course, too. Today we're going with the Durock Linears. I really like these. Are really here, if I can zoom on that a little bit better. Yeah, really great switches, pretty quiet. Clacky enough that I know that I'll like them, but not too clacky. You will need, and I do want to call this out, there's something super important. I checked this out before I started building, and I'm glad that I did, otherwise would have got stuck. But so there are genuine cherry switches and genuine cherry stabs. Ooh, sorry. And what are like cherry like. So these are the Durock ones. So if you buy these on Amazon, it will say that these are basically these are genuine cherry PCB mount stabs that you can use. They're not wrong, but one thing I want to call out, and I'm going to try and this is really hard to capture. I tried a couple of times. So on the side of this, and you can barely see it because they're a smoky one. So that's kind of my fault. There is just the smallest, like the tiniest little sliver. Man, I'm doing the best. Like I do not think I'm going to be able to get a good shot of that. But there's a tiniest little sliver, this little piece that kind of like blocks it from going all the way into the PCB. Or excuse me, into the plate, not into the PCB. That's not present on the black ones. It's just kind of like smooth so they can drop in there, which is what they're meant to do. I want to call it out because if you buy these ones, the Durock ones, they will not work. These stabs, these stabilizers will not work with the mounting plate that comes with the UT47. So I want to call that out just because if you buy those, you'll end up getting stuck, or you just won't have stabs on your keyboard. And if that's something that's important to you, it's just a pain in the butt. So my suggestion is to buy the genuine cherry ones. You can get them off Amazon. That's exactly what I did, or whatever purchaser you choose to go with. But just wanted to call that out because that could be super annoying if you're not aware. Let's get into it. This is a really straightforward build. It should be relatively quick. So we have our plate here. For hot swappable keyboards, so this keyboard's really awesome because while it is still a 40%, it doesn't require any soldering. For this keyboard, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to drop our keys directly, or we're going to drop our switches, excuse me, not our keys, directly into the plate, which is really great because once this part is done, like once this piece is done, that's the majority of the work. Gonna checking some of these pins are bent, and it's really important to straighten these out. So I'll try and get a good shot of this. So if you take a look at the pins here, you want to make sure that all your pins are super straight when putting this in, because really all we're gonna do is just snap this right into the PCB. Any keys that don't snap in, it just lets you know that they're not straight, and we'll have to tweak that as we go along. So I'm trying to catch it now so I don't end up running into the issue later. But yeah, so we're gonna pop all of our switches right into the PCB, or right into the plate. Man, not the PCB. Once all the switches are popped in, we'll take a quick pause and we'll put in the stabilizer before we pop the switch in for our space key. And yeah, that's really it. Like this is gonna be a really quick build. And even for this video, it's gonna be relatively short. But in real life, this is a very quick kind of build. I like keyboards like this for if you want to build something quickly. It's really great. And also if you want to build something but don't necessarily want to again deal with the soldering. I know for some people that can be a little bit daunting, or something they just don't feel like doing and uncomfortable with, but you still want to build. So I think that's what's really cool about kits like these. One of my friends actually put me onto this, so I was really excited when I saw this, and the thing I like about it is that it still has some pretty cool features. So it still has some pretty neat features that you can get out of it. So there's RGB built into the keyboard, so we'll play around. We have the ability to play around with the coloring a little bit. That's all in the firmware. So this is the thing I like about this version of the board as well is that it works with QMK firmware, which is pretty standard when building keyboards out. And the nice thing is we can make our layout whatever we want it to be. We can make our keyboard whatever we want it to be. So one thing I did ahead of time is I did build out. I did already compile the firmware that I'm going to put onto the board, which is a pretty basic QWERTY setup. It's nothing too fancy. My setup is pretty standard across all my keyboards. If you saw the one for my Contra, there was nothing too complicated about it. I usually have it about two layers on my keyboard because that's really all I use on a regular basis. I am planning eventually to build out a gaming layer, but not something I'm too concerned about like right at the moment because the games that I do play are straightforward enough where I don't really need a dedicated layer for that. And the keys that I use, let's get some more switches out. The keys that I use are pretty standard, either number keys or your standard letter keys. So I don't really need to do anything with like function keys or anything crazy like that. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward setup. I'm concerned about how that bent there, so it might replace that switch. Haven't decided yet. We'll see. Yeah, pretty standard setup. Go in there and I may tweak it, I may not, but yeah, I use a pretty standard setup across all my keyboards, so it's usually pretty easy for me to tweak one of the already existing key maps inside any of the keyboard repos and use that as the kind of default for me building out the rest of my board. So yeah, pretty excited. And as you can see, like this is overall like a really quick process. I might speed some of this up when I go ahead and produce the video. Dropped one there. I'll get that later. I might speed some of this up because this is a really overall quick. Like there's not much to this. You really all you need are the pieces I already mentioned. And then the last thing I'll just call out is having like a little screwdriver kit. So that's what I have here, like a little Husky $20 screwdriver set. I have this regularly just because of some of the work I do on the side. I do a little bit of AV work and installs, and so yeah, I have that kit that I usually keep in my backpack for that. But yeah, it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have here. So let me. And I hoping that the lighting is capturing this well, and just how easy this process is. Like I said, this is a pretty straightforward. All right, so I have the PCB right here. keys are all in, or switches are all in. One thing I like to do before I put the keycaps on, I actually like to test all of the switches just to make sure. So if I need to pop one off and fix any issue with it, I can do that now. So there's a pretty neat application you can do that with. I'll pop it up. It's the QMK configurator. There's a test screen. You can run through each key. One thing just happens to me every once in a while, just to call out. Don't forget, if you've coded modifier keys, so those are your keys that switch your different layers, don't forget those aren't going to respond like those. So those aren't dead keys. So like you want to hit it and then whatever other thing you've mapped it to underneath, check that just so you know the key is working. I've definitely sat here scratching my head for a while and then remembered there were modifier keys before. So just wanted to call that out really quickly. So we can plug the keyboard in. Like I said, it's already flashed. Look, you can see the little RGB lights are working, which is really cool. And then, yeah, like I said, just run through every key on the configurator so that you know that those are working. That'll make, I know it makes me feel a lot better. Definitely something I'd recommend doing. Probably takes you all like 30 seconds to a minute to make sure everything's working before you put the keycaps on, and then put the stands and the bottom case on. And yeah, so I am we're gonna switch back over and go put the stands on. All right, and here we are. Keyboard's finally finished. Pretty excited about this. Loving the keycaps on here. They feel really great, and the keys sound awesome as well. So really happy overall about the how this turned out. So let's plug it in and get a key test going and get out of here. So I'm a really huge fan of this keyboard specifically because of the RGB colors. I haven't got a chance to play around with these, mostly because I don't feel like soldering the pieces on myself, but this makes me want to do that. I really like the colors. I really like how it looks. So I'm probably going to play around with this a little bit more. I will probably rock this keyboard for about a week or two, see if I like it. Might switch back to my Contra, or might stick with this. Haven't figured it out yet. But let's run it through a quick test and see how it sounds. All in all, probably sounds pretty quiet, which is exactly what I was going for. I'm trying to get to things that are clacky but not as clicky, so they're still fun to use. So really happy with how everything sounds. Really happy with how all the keys are turning out. Really happy with how this looks overall. So yeah, pretty excited about it. So gonna try and capture that just a little bit better. So that's it. That's all it takes to build the UT47 version 2. If you like this video, please take time to subscribe to the channel. Everything I used to do this build will be down in the comments below. And if you want to see another one or have any feedback, please feel free to drop a comment below. And we'll talk to you guys soon. See you in the next one.